Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Pacific Arc Tig Welding. My name's Dusty. For all the arc heads who watch every week, what's up? Welcome back. How are you? To anybody that's new, first time checking out the show here, thank you very much. Welcome. If you are new, be sure to check out all the episodes previous to this one. I do all things TIG welding on this channel. I do all kinds of crazy art projects. I do all kinds of gear breakdowns. We do reviews on different types of gear, different types of machines. As well as I do demos and how-tos and everything. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to check out the description below. There's a bunch of links to other videos in there, as well as pop over to my channel and check out what's there. Also be sure to subscribe, like, and most importantly, share. I always feel bad asking, but this stuff really helps my channel grow, and I am really trying to grow my channel. So all that stuff, sharing, subscribing, and all that stuff really helps out. So thank you very much. As well, be sure to follow me on Instagram. There's my Instagram handle right there, as well as my website. You can go to my website. I have a gallery, I have videos, I have a blog about TIG welding, as well as all the information on my online training program where I help people to learn to TIG weld online. So check all that out there. I appreciate it, thanks. So, I got a message, a comment in one of my YouTube videos that was made a lot of sense. Somebody had watched the review that I did on the Canaweld 201 Pulse D a few episodes ago. Again, the link is in the description below. You'll see it right away. But somebody asked, I did all this super breakdown on the machine and everything, and I didn't break down the helmet. I wore the helmet for the episode and I didn't talk about it at all. So totally good point. I apologize for not covering that. It's kind of a misfire on my end, so I apologize. But anyway, here it is today. So that should show you though. If you comment below, if you have ideas for episodes or anything like that you'd like to see, reviews from the stuff you see me using, as well as any demos you'd like to see me try, tricks and different things like that, just leave it in the comments below. I won't guarantee that I will make an episode for you on it, but I will try and get around to replying to it. And yeah, if it's a good suggestion, then I'll make an episode as well. So here's a Canaweld helmet. This helmet is really nice so far. I'm really enjoying it, but let's break down a little bit about what I like and what I don't like about the helmet. So first off, go to Canaweld's website. I'll put that on screen right here as well. As you can see on the website, they have a couple different helmets. They got all the information and specs listed for the helmet on their website. All the different breakdowns of the fancy stuff. A lot of the stuff I don't really understand, but we'll go over the important stuff here though that you will probably want to know today. You can see the price that it's listed at here. It is May 2020 right now, so if you're watching this in the future, price might be different, so don't quote me on the price that you see here. That's what it is listed at the moment, but let's give a little rundown on how I like it so far, and spoiler alert, I like it so far. So to be honest, it doesn't really take a whole lot to impress me with a helmet. It just has to not be totally stupid. If that makes any sense. Let me explain what I mean. It is genuinely built well. The whole thing is not terribly flimsy. A lot of the time you will see some helmets that are listed as being lightweight, and they're pretty flimsy. This guy is not terribly flimsy. It's pretty sturdy. I do like that. It's listed at 1.35 pounds, which is kind of crazy. I swear. Doesn't seem like it should be that light, but that's what it's listed at. 1.35 pounds is 0.61 kilograms for everybody in the metric system. But yeah, so overall, it's pretty light. I really like that on the head. Looking down, working on art pieces and stuff like that for hours and hours. I'm working on an art piece right now that I've literally put probably 12 to 15 hours in with the helmet on, and this guy I hardly even noticed it on my head. It's pretty light. I like that. I don't feel exhausted having my head forward like that, so the weight of it is pretty sweet. Another thing I really like about it is the headgear. The headgear is pretty much the same headgear that I have. I have a Miller Digital Elite, also a really nice helmet, but it's got like a ratchet system, kind of tightens up this guy here on the back of your head. This guy here fits really nice to the back of your head. I usually wear a hat, not a welder's cap. I prefer a hat for some reason, but this guy fits really nice to the back of my hat, as well as a bare head. It doesn't pinch my hair, which is kind of nice. I don't have much hair left as a caveat, but anyway, it's got this 2-band system, which is really nice. So a lot of helmets just have 1 band right across the top. This one, however, has 2, which helps to distribute the weight a little bit better over the top of your head. It's a lot more comfy. Again, you can throw sweat bands on these guys here. I have them jacked up quite a bit so they don't even touch the top of my head. I just have this guy and this guy that touches my head. But overall, the headgear was a big one for me that I really enjoyed. It's built pretty well. It's like, I don't know, it's light. It's supposed to be light, so it's a little bit flimsy. You can see it's a little wobbly, but overall, it does fit pretty nice. It's really adjustable. You can adjust the stop so that when it's at its stop and resting point, you can adjust that so it's higher or lower in your field of vision, which is really nice. That's a big bonus about good headgear in a helmet like this. Probably the next favorite thing that I really enjoy about this one so far is it's got a really big lens. So the lens is listed as 98 by 88 millimeters, so that's pretty big. That's almost 4 inches top to bottom, which is really nice, as well as really wide as well. Another cool thing I like about this is the color of the shade when it's engaged. So when you're welding, it's kind of like a bluish color, which is really nice. I do like that, which is really sweet, but it's pretty easy to take apart. You pop the lens out, you can change out the lenses and stuff like that. It's pretty simple. Like the ergonomics of it is really nice. The lens has 4 sensors on it. The lens is also powered by 2 very typical lithium ion batteries. It's the same type of batteries that go in most welding helmets. Some of the technical stuff about it, a lot of this doesn't mean a lot to me, but it's pretty cool to learn about. It's got a really fast tinting speed. So the tinting speed is listed on the website as 1/25,000th of a second. So that's real quick. It will switch from light to dark, which is nice. Different shades it's listed as having. It has a shade 5 to 8, so you'll probably use that for cutting, like oxyacetylene, plasma cutting and stuff like that, which is nice. It has a grind function, of course, which most people use. I use it a little bit in here. Then the welding shades is 9 to 13. So 9 to 13 is pretty good. 13 will be on the heavier end of the spectrum as far as like doing higher amp welding. Shade 9 is like kind of what I generally use for stainless TIG welding and stuff like that, where I'm doing like more low amp TIG welding, which is really nice. So you have a good variability, basically the same as like most other helmets I've used. It's about a standard shade range, which is really nice. So how do I like it? Overall, after explaining a little bit of the technical stuff about it, I do like it. I really like this helmet. There's a couple things that kind of bum me out about it, but they're pretty minuscule. I'll mention them in a second here. But overall, like I said, it's really light. I like the weight of it. It doesn't weigh a whole lot. I don't need a whole lot with a helmet. Kind of simpler is better, as long as it has a good like quick, fast changing lens to react to bright welding and stuff like that, as well as good control at the low end of the amperage scales as well. So like I mentioned, if I'm doing TIG welding on stainless or something like that, where it's pretty low amp, you could dial the sensitivity pretty high. I need that to be really reactive so that I don't get flashed or anything like that. This one, because of the sensors being in pretty smart places, the sensitivity being pretty adjustable, is a totally decent helmet. So if we're on the cheaper end of a helmet price that you probably pay, you get a pretty good bang for your buck with it, as far as like what I'm looking for in a helmet. Like I said, I also really like the bigger viewing area. I have a Miller, I've used Optrel, I've used Speed Glass, which have a decent amount, like you can see everything pretty well. The viewing area on this one, like I said, is like basically almost 4 inches by 4 inches. Like it's really big. It's a little bit more rectangular than a square 4x4, but it's you get a lot of viewing area, which is nice. Everything's really clear with the lens. But yeah, the big lens is a big one for me. I really like having more viewing area. Like I said, the headgear is super comfortable. I like the headgear. That's a big win for me. And yeah, so overall, the helmet has a lot of things that I genuinely look for, or generally look for in a helmet. And it has all those things. So again, it's a little bit cheaper. I definitely like that. So you get a little more bang for your buck. You get some good headgear, you get a good viewing area, and a helmet that works pretty well. You can't ask for too much more. And the graphics are pretty cool too, right? This one's pretty niche for Canadian market, but yeah, you get your maple leaves there. I don't know, I think that's supposed to be like maple syrup, like pouring out or something like that. Overall, the helmet's pretty slick. You got racing stripes in case you want to drive a car real fast wearing a helmet. I'm just kidding, don't do that. Overall, the helmet's pretty sweet. I really like it. We'll go over a couple things that I'm not too huge on about the helmet. There's always something. Probably the one thing that really annoys me the most is that the dials to make most adjustments are up top. So what I mean by this is that with a lot of helmets, you'll see all of your controls will mostly be down the bottom here. So you do have a little bit of stuff you can change on the bottom. However, all the intricate kind of stuff you would adjust, like your delay, sensitivity, and shade and all that, is up top there. So unfortunately, I kind of find that pretty annoying. There's definitely a lot of times when I'm already welding on a piece and stuff like that. I got my hat on, I got everything done up real nice, and I want to make a change of something. I can't see what's all the way up there. I'm not terribly familiar with the helmet yet. Maybe if I get more familiar, I'll be able to just kind of wheel and deal without looking. But as of right now, I have to take the helmet off and I have to like reach in there and kind of adjust the dial. So it would be nice if the dial system was a button system like most digital helmets, where all the buttons are down below, which is just a lot simpler. You can literally have it down over your face and you can just tap away, change whatever buttons you need to. There's no dials. You're not going to break off a dial or chip a dial or anything like that. That would be pretty sweet if they were down below. The only other thing that I really can complain about, if you want to call it complaining, is one of the clips that hold this guy in. It's a little bit of a different mechanism that clips the lens into the helmet. One of the clips broke. I don't know if I did it. I don't know if it happened in shipping or something like that, but it broke like almost right away. This other one seems to be hanging in there just fine. So I don't know if it was maybe cracked or fractured or something like that. And then me being a dummy just maybe dropped it or bonked it or something and cracked it and broke it off. As you can see here, the clip system is this little guy right here. And there's another one there. There was another one there. But basically what you do is you just push these little plastic levers over and it unclips itself, and then you lift the whole unit out like so. But what happened is when I pushed this lever over, it just broke off. So that's kind of weird. It is a little like flimsy plastic kind of thing. I might have pushed it the wrong way, or it might have been cracked already and I might have just broken it off myself. I did contact the customer service at Canaweld, which again, the customer service with them is super good. They're very nice. And I told them that I broke it and they were really surprised. So they've sold a lot of helmets and I guess it didn't sound like something that happens very often. So like I said, it might've just been me. I tend to be pretty clumsy with things sometimes. So keep that in mind. But again, overall, I think the helmet's pretty good. Most helmets you'll see for a price range kind of where you're looking here. I'm not terribly familiar with them, so I can't really speak on the quality of those. But as far as like the price point between this guy and something quite expensive like an Optrel or Miller or something like that, obviously those are awesome helmets. You get a lot of functions in this helmet that you would in a more expensive helmet. So for bang for your buck, this helmet's not a bad deal at all. Like I said, ergonomics of it are pretty good. Everything works real good as far as welding at high amp and low amp, and I'm a happy camper. So again, pop on over to Canaweld's website. It's right there. You can check out their helmets. They have a bunch of different paint jobs that you can get, the different graphics and stuff like that, as well as other machines. If you didn't see the Canaweld review I did on the 201 Pulse D, that is in the description right below. Check that out. That was a lot of fun, that one. That was about a half hour long. So we really got into that machine. We broke down everything to do with it. So I really appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, thank you very much. I can't remember who it was that suggested I do an episode on the helmet itself. So if you're watching, thank you so much. And again, everybody else, if you have suggestions as far as like episodes you want to see, if you want to see a breakdown of any gear that I use, gloves, cups, I do all kinds of stuff on this channel. So if you see anything that comes to mind, just let me know. I'm not promising I'll do it, but there is a chance I might do an episode on it. Be sure to comment below and let me know if you think of anything. So again, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. There's my handle right there, as well as my website. You can read my blog. You can check out pictures of my work, as well as information on my online course where I help people to learn how to TIG weld online. It's a new thing I'm doing and it's been a lot of fun so far. So check out a little bit more on that on my website. As well, if you got any value from this, I really appreciate it if you share my episodes. Like I said, subscribe, like, share, do all that stuff. That's the stuff that helps my channel grow, and I am trying to grow my channel as much as I can, so I really appreciate that. But that's about it. Hope everyone's doing good out there. Do something nice for a stranger, random act of kindness, whatever you want to call it. But other than that, I hope everyone's doing good. Have a good one. Peace. What's this? Hehehehe